with me, Tanima Biswas, and our focus continues on the big campaign that we are following here on Mirror now, which is Stop Police Dadagiri.
रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ पेड़ 2 मिनट रोकने के लिए कि मैं बात करता हूँ ये थ्रेटन कर रहे हैं कि गाड़ी में डालो
Now, Mirror Now is continuing its relentless coverage on the case of the Mumbai activist who had protested against cutting off a heritage tree in the city, and following which are the visuals which are there on your screen. He was manhandled, he was pushed inside a police van and was also detained for several hours just because he had questioned the cutting of a tree. In fact, Abhay Aazaad, the activist in question, also spoke to Mirror Now after this and said Mumbaikars should not be scared and raise their voice. The activist was briefly detained over the weekend, as I said, and he was also manhandled by the police. Take a look at what he had to tell us earlier.
He has been released.
We are being joined by Abhay Aazaad. Abhay, please tell us what happened yesterday and how exactly Mumbai police, behaved with you and why were you detained?
Basically, we have a Save Trees group, and I received a photo. This particular tree is being cut. Since I live nearby, I came on my bicycle to just check what is going on, why are they hacking the tree, and as soon as I show up, I see they are doing it in a very rampant fashion, and which really hurt me. And I questioned the authorities, please show me the permissions and all. In a very polite manner, I requested them. There was a lot of noise and sound, and I see cops were also present. They were doing the job and of cutting the tree. So on looking at the permission letter, I see that this particular letter is outdated. It's from 2018, and it so happens the coincidence that I had personally, and along with me Zoru Batena as well the other tree activists we had personally given objections at Baikala Tree Garden Department, and it was very shocking for us to see that this tree being chopped down suddenly it was too shocking for us as a citizen. So I questioned with the cop, and sir, please stop this. They don't have the right validity for the cutting of the tree. And on my request, he said you are obstructing the government work, the municipal work, and basically you are an hindrance to all this. So please don't obstruct this. And so in that, basically I said in requesting. He said you are obstructing, and then they took me in the vehicle. Basically, they detained me for 3 hours.
Now, after that, once that video made rounds on social media, Mumbai police tweeted by saying that the issue is resolved now.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that means. What that means, can you tell us that whether it is resolved or not? And what do they mean by saying that it's resolved?
They are saying that it is my misconduct personally, but I don't see for no rhyme or reason. If citizen today will not really raise a voice against anything which is illegal happening on the road and for the tree, today even our environment minister is saying that that nature is important, environment is important, and we should save the trees and forests and everything, and all this good information which is going among the citizens, a citizen will think and he will go and save the tree. But if you are going to threaten the citizen, and if citizens, obviously when I showed up, the citizens seemed to be very helpless and they were in fear, and what can we do? Unless you don't raise a voice today, they are not going to stop anything, and it was very mercilessly and ruthlessly done.
I'm joined on the broadcast by activist Anil Galgali, who's joining us on the show. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on Mirror Now. But what we are looking at essentially are incidents of police high-handedness. This is a classic example that we saw over the weekend with this particular activist, the green activist there, who was manhandled and pushed forcibly inside a police van just because he has raised certain questions. I'm sure in your personal experience as well, you must have come across several such incidents of police high-handedness as well. And because, there is this tendency of chalta hai attitude that this is what we expect from men in khaki, nobody really raises their voice as much as they should.
देखिए कि ये पूरा का पूरा मामला काफी गलत है, क्योंकि सरकार तो बदली है मगर पुलिस की जो मानसिकता है उनका जो रवैया अभी तक नहीं बदला है। ये वही सरकार है, जब आर्य कॉलोनी में झाड़ कट रहे थे तभी विपक्ष में बैठे हुए लोगों ने सपोर्ट किया था। आज जब सत्ता में आने के बाद इस तरह की कार्रवाई हो रही है। मेरा मानना है कि जिस तरह से पूरे मीडिया ने देखा, सोशल मीडिया पर इसकी वीडियोस अपलोड हुई, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो सुमोटो लेना चाहिए, चाहे मुख्यमंत्री उद्धव ठाकरे हो, होम मिनिस्टर दिलीप वलसे पाटिल हो और हमारे युवा नेता आदित्य ठाकरे, क्योंकि इस तरह की चीजें काफी गलत है। ये सिर्फ आर्य कॉलोनी का मामला नहीं है, मुंबई में ऐसे कई सारे एक्टिविज्म जब होते हैं तो पुलिस जब भी इस तरह का लोग विरोध करते हैं, चाहे वो झाड़ कटने के मामला हो या कोई अतिक्रमण का मामला हो, तो पुलिस जो इस तरह की चीजें करने वालों के साथ खड़ी रहती है और जो पर्यावरण को बचाने वाले, मुंबई शहर को बचाने की बात करने वाले कार्यकर्ताओं पर बेरहमी से लाठीचार्ज करते हैं, उन्हें अरेस्ट करते हैं और कहीं ना कहीं तो इसे सुमोटो लेकर उन अधिकारियों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए ताकि भविष्य में कोई भी इस तरह की हरकत नहीं करेगा।
जी अनिल जी, जैसे हम देख सकते हैं कि आप अगर कुछ थोड़ा विस्तारित रूप से बता पाएं कि किस तरह के एक्सपीरियंसेस आप खुद एक्चुअली झेल चुके हैं मुंबई में या महाराष्ट्र में किसी आसपास जगह में जहां पे आपको दिखा है कि पुलिस का एक ऐसा रवैया रहा है जहां पे वो एक्चुअली अपनी मतलब बिकॉज दे आर वेयरिंग द यूनिफॉर्म दे कैन एक्चुअली probably show this, display this sort of a high-handedness, but कुछ actually complaint करने के बावजूद भी जो उनके सीनियर ऑफिसर्स हैं वो उस बारे में कोई ध्यान नहीं देते।
देखिए कि मैं आपको सबसे बड़ा उदाहरण देता हूँ रिलायंस कंपनी का। अभी उसको अडानी ने टेक ओवर किया है। जब रिलायंस के बिजली बिल के दाम बढ़े थे, जब कोई आम नागरिक कार्यकर्ता जब मोर्चा निकालते थे तो पुलिस उसको पहली बात तो परमिशन नहीं देती है, कहीं ना कहीं तो में और लोग काम करते हैं। क्योंकि दूसरी बात, जब भी रिलायंस का जो सांताक्रूज मुख्यालय है वहां पर मोर्चा निकालने की कोशिश की गई थी, तो लोगों को, कार्यकर्ताओं को नोटिस देकर कहीं ना कहीं तो डराने धमकाने का काम कई सालों से हो रहा है। मेरा मानना है कि हमारे संविधान में लोगों को आंदोलन करने का, प्रोटेस्ट करने का पूरा अधिकार है। और जो आर्य कॉलोनी का जो मामला है काफी गंभीर इसलिए है क्योंकि झाड़ कट रहे हैं, उनके पास किसी भी तरह की परमिशन अगर हमने मांगी तो देने उनका काम है। लेकिन मुंबई पुलिस ने जिस तरह से एक कार्यकर्ताओं को जबरदस्ती वैन में बिठाया, उसे मारपीट करने की कोशिश की, कहीं ना कहीं तो जो गलत हो रहा है उसे रोकने के बजाय मुंबई पुलिस, मुंबई महानगर पालिका, MMRDA, ये सभी उन लोगों के साथ खड़ी होती है जो रसूखदार होते हैं, जो बिल्डर होते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं तो मुंबई के पर्यावरण से जो खिलवाड़ करने का काम करते हैं, उनके साथ पुलिस खड़ी होती है। मेरा मानना है कि जी,
आपने कभी इस बारे में शिकायत की है और किस तरह के रिस्पॉन्स आपको मिली है?
देखिए कि जब हमारे पास इस तरह की शिकायत आती है तो ट्विटर के माध्यम से, फेसबुक के माध्यम से कंसर्न डिपार्टमेंट को हम लोग ट्वीट भी करते हैं कि इस तरह की चीजें नहीं होनी चाहिए। दुर्भाग्य से जैसे कि हमारे यशवंत शिंदे नाम के अल्टे कार्यकर्ता थे, जब वो सुनवाई में चले गए थे तो डीसीपी ने उनके साथ मारपीट की। हम इस मामले को लेकर, मैं, शैलेश गांधी जी, सुचेता दलाल जी, हम उस वक्त के कमिश्नर को मिले थे। लेकिन दुर्भाग्य से पुलिस हो, सरकार हो, वो कभी ये नहीं चाहती है कि एक्टिविज्म बढ़े, जो आम लोग हैं उनकी ताकत बढ़े, जो लोग सवाल पूछते हैं उन्हें कहीं ना कहीं तो कुचलने की कोशिश इस लोकतंत्र में हमेशा होती आ रही है।
जी, आप जैसे आपने कहा कि जो भी सरकार बदले, जो भी आए, फिर भी ये जो एक स्टैंडर्ड रहता है वो सेम रहता है। सर, अगर आप ये भी बता पाए, जैसे हम देख रहे हैं कि ये सिर्फ एक मुंबई वाला इंसिडेंट नहीं है, दो वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर इंसिडेंट बिकॉज इट हैज जस्ट हैपेंड, बट हमारा फोकस ये भी है कि ऐसे इंसिडेंट्स हर जगह होती रहती है इस देश में। ऐसा नहीं है कि हम सिर्फ शहरों की बारे में बात कर रहे हैं। प्रॉबेबली रूरल एरियाज में दिस इज इवन वर्स।
निश्चित तौर पर, क्योंकि ग्रामीण इलाकों में मीडिया पहुंच नहीं पाती है, जो वहां के लोग हैं वो उतने टेक्नोलॉजी से लबालब नहीं होते हैं। मुंबई में जब हम एक्टिविज्म करते हैं तो निश्चित तौर पर हमें मीडिया का सपोर्ट मिलता है। कई सारे ऐसे लोग भी होते हैं जो एक्टिविज्म के साथ खड़े रहते हैं, जैसे कि एडवोकेट मिहिर देसाई जी का नाम मैं प्रमुख तौर से लेता हूँ। जब इस तरह के हादसे होते हैं, लोगों पर अन्याय होता है, वो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट लोगों के लिए लड़ने की भी कोशिश करते हैं। तो ग्रामीण इलाकों में लोगों के पास सिस्टम नहीं होती है, उनके पास कोई सपोर्ट नहीं होता है। और मैं सिर्फ महाराष्ट्र की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, गुजरात हो, मध्य प्रदेश हो, उत्तर प्रदेश हो, क्योंकि पिछले 20 सालों का अगर ब्यौरा देखा तो हमारे जो सबसे ज्यादा गुजरात में मारे गए हैं, उसके बाद महाराष्ट्र का नंबर आता है। ये सभी जगह पर होता है, लेकिन मुंबई में जब होता है तो निश्चित तौर पर उसकी खबर बनती है और उसकी आवाज बुलंद करने का काम सभी लोग करते हैं।
Ji, in fact, I'm also joined on the show by Mr. Bezwada Wilson, the Delhi activist. Sir, Mr. Wilson, thank you so much for sparing your time and speaking to us. What we have in fact seen is that there have been instances of such high-handedness, police high-handedness, not just in Mumbai, but in several other parts of the country, and also I'm sure in Delhi, in fact in North India for that matter. Delhi police or Haryana police are known to be much more abrasive, at least if we go by common, experiences.
Yes, it is. Of course, we know now the activism has become like the people, particularly the police and the governments are looking. Activism means is nothing but the terrorism. That is a completely wrong. The people who are sitting in the power must understand that they are unable to do certain things. They are unable to deliver the justice to the people, and particularly to the poor and the needy. In that circumstances, the people on the street, and particularly the youngsters, the young जनता वो खुद सड़क पे आके आप लोग ने कुछ गलत कर रहा है वो बता रहे हैं. The governments and everybody must open their ears and hear. पर्यावरण के लिए कोई पेड़ काटे तो कौन बताना? रक्षा करने वाला पुलिस है. पुलिस उनका काम वो छोड़ के कौन इसका डायरेक्ट आके आप गलत कर रहा है काटने वाला के बता रहा है. You go and beat the person. What is this? This is not the democratic country. This is the way the police is functioning. Police is a representative of the government. Please look and understand. The police is when beating the person who is actually protecting the tree. Tree protection is not just for him or her. It is for the future of the whole country. उन्हें उनका आवाज उठा रहा है. आवाज उठाना गलत है क्या? गलत क्या कैसे होते हैं? आवाज किसी का उठा रहा है. मुझे खाना चाहिए दूसरा विषय का नहीं है. For others, the social work has become like a very गलत word है आज का तारीख पे.
Mr. Wilson,
social work सेवा एक अच्छा see the service is a best gratitude or the character of the human being. They are coming out and doing the service. इसका तो हरियाणा सरकार होगा, दिल्ली सरकार होगा और हर राज्य पे सारे लोग सेवा का रेस्पेक्ट करने के नजर छोड़ दिया.
Mr. Wilson, if you could also, I asked this question of Mr. Galgali as well, if you could also recount what has been the sort of response you've got when, there has in fact been a complaint, let's say, made to senior policemen about police high-handedness from, let's say, junior cops. Although it's not a rank basis behavior that we're looking at, I'm sure there are lots of instances of senior cops misbehaving as well. But what has been the response whenever anyone, for that matter, raises their voice against this sort of high-handedness from men in khaki?
एक बात होते हैं वो सेटल हो गया वो कहते हैं. They are saying that it is got settled. Nothing has settled. Settle means what? First they have to issue orders or pass the orders or book the case against the person who is cutting actually the tree. Not just you are coming and compromising with us. Activist is not to get anything out of their action. They are actually asking the government to be on the track. So ये करना और पुलिस है एक एक्टिविस्ट का साथी बात करने के तरीका ये सीखना पड़ते हैं. They have to give a proper training for all the police person. The activists are coming in support of the government actions. आप गवर्नमेंट गलत एक्शन पे चले तो वो बताते हैं you are doing something wrong. If you kill that actually the critical voice in the country will go to the completely dogs. That they have to understand.
Right.
And the police, whoever has taken an action against the activists, they must apologize immediately and the police must come and give the assurance that the people who come to protect the country, nation and पर्यावरण उनका जिम्मेदारी है उनका प्रोटेक्ट करना.
Right,
ये
exactly.
छोड़ के वो खुद आके उनका ऊपर ऐसा हमला करना ये क्या तरीका होते हैं? So
right, the protectors themselves turning into, goons in a way, behaving in such a manner. Mr. Anil Galgali and Mr. Bezwara Wilson, thank you so much for joining us on this discussion here on Mirror Now. And we are, of course, keeping our focus squarely on this very important issue. In fact, on this very note, going back to what we had, in fact, been discussing, that there are several residents that my colleague Santhya also spoke to, who had, in fact, recounted the manner in which this particular activist was manhandled. Take a look at this.
Did you see any such notice? Did you or anybody else get a chance to actually got a chance to respond to it, raise an objection to it?
Okay, as far as the notice is concerned, apparently in 2018, which is more than 4 years ago, there apparently was a notice here, but that is totally outdated. Post that, there have been many meetings that we have had with them where we have typically questioned them. Letters have been sent, emails have been sent to them as to is there anything. Nothing, there's no response. As far as this tree hacking is concerned, which happened yesterday, there was no notice whatsoever. No notice whatsoever, whether on the tree or to any of the residents here, not even to the adjoining residents. There was no notice whatsoever. Now, moreover, this tree does not belong to MCGM in any manner. It comes under the property of the Gautan. If you see this pole, right? This pole is the demarcation which says that this is Miskita Street. This Gautan is made up of primarily 3 streets. Miskita Street, which is this, Gonsalves Street and Fernandez Street. Now, this pole was here. The tree was behind this pole, which clearly demarcates that this is within the property of the Gautan. So, but illegally, if you see on the tree which is hacked over there, there's a number 1 put there, which they have no right to put that number 1 also on that. Because this is a private property. This is a private tree.
So these are the reasons that these residents, and some of them are activists as well, believe that this particular tree trimming, or as they are calling it, hacking of this tree, was illegal. We are also joined by a resident. So you live here only. You saw what happened yesterday. If you can explain to us that was there any, because police is claiming that Abhay ended up misbehaving with the cops and that's why they had to take that extreme step?
Yes, I do live here. This is the first house. My name is Carl. And every time we go, because this tree, it's a people tree. It's very holy tree believed by people. So we used to always request for the tree to be trimmed. But we were never getting permission from BMC, saying they cannot trim it. Over here, this is daylight killing, where yesterday they came without any notice, just chopped it off. They even tried to uproot the tree, forget cutting. And yes, because I lived here, I seen Abhay being just talking to the police, just telling them, stop this work, because it's illegal. Give us papers, which shows you have the permission. What they do, they take him in, you must have seen the videos, they take him inside a police vehicle.